How much do I need to invest in real estate? Well, welcome back. I'm Ted Thomas, and I've been involved in real estate since 1970. I specialize in tax lien properties and tax defaulted properties. You'd like to know how much you need to invest in real estate. So I'm going to give you some time-tested insights and strategies that I've learned over these years. Markets go up, markets go down. You need to learn how to be a value investor, and I'm going to teach you some of that as we go along in the next few minutes. So real estate training, a lot of it is hype and not a lot of content. So I found that out because I bought a lot of real estate courses. So I'm going to show you some strategies that you can learn right now that you can use to grow your portfolio and make yourself an awful lot of money. Now, my students end up we're shooting for $100,000. Six figures is what we're trying to do. We don't want to do a lot of property, but once we do, we want to make a lot of money. So let me tell you about some of the big mistakes that investors make, and I'll do that at the very end of this video. It's a short video, so stay with me. In that last part of the video, I'll tell you about two mistakes that newcomers make and experienced investors make, and they make it at the auction. You must avoid these mistakes. You could lose hundreds or even thousands of dollars if you make this mistake. I'll be right back. How much do you need to invest in real estate? Well, you don't need a lot, but you need to have a strategy, and you need to have the process thought out. There's a lot of hype out there in real estate, so you're going to be amazed at some of the things I say right now. But let me give you a little foundational information to start with so you get some strategies to work with. First of all, don't believe all the hype you see on those real estate shows. I mean, my goodness, you're probably not that pretty girl standing at the front introducing everybody and having contractors run in and out and people smashing down walls and doing all those things. Well, that isn't the real world of real estate, and if it was, you would be broke after the first one. That costs a lot of money to do the kind of fix-up you're seeing there. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get bread and butter property, and we're trying to turn them around. We're trying to create value. So how are we going to create the value? We're going to buy them at low prices, and we're going to do like Costco and Walmart and Target. We're going to mark them up a little bit and get them sold for a low price and make some money. But we're going to create value, and we're going to do that in a number of different ways. So don't believe all the hype that you hear. This business has been around for well over 200 years, and you'll be able to be successful, and you don't need a lot of money. All right, so our objective is to buy and resell at a profit. We're not trying to build mansions. We're not trying to build the most beautiful home on the street. What we're trying to do is we're trying to bargain our way into the business by getting decent properties and selling them on installment sales or selling them and making cash. Now let's look at the marketplace. We need to have a strategy. What's our strategy going to be? I want you to start thinking and watching where the parking lots are full. Walmart parking lot's full. Costco, it's full. Target, it's full. Well, what are they doing? All right, now go down the street to the shopping center. JCPenney's, not so full. Macy's, not so full. Sears, not so full. Kmart, gone. Well, what's happened? The old time is not working anymore. So you need to look at the retailers that are doing a good job. And what are they doing? They're basically trying to buy it a little lower than everybody else, mark it up a little bit, and get rid of it. That's what they're doing, and they're darn successful at it. Now, why are they so successful? Because they're not trying to make all the money on one deal. They got a lot of volume going through those stores, but they're making money. All right, that's one strategy. All right, let's look at another strategy. America buys on payments. So let's look at a strategy that Chase Bank is using. What's Bank of America doing? What's Wells Fargo doing? They're teaching people, here's our credit card. They'll do anything to get you a credit card. Why? Because they want to get you used to making payments. Americans love to make payments. Well, how about if you buy your properties right, and then you even sell some of them, and you take payments? Wow, your market just exploded. Suddenly, 25% of the market that you never dreamed about is going to show up because people have divorces, people have bankruptcy, people have crises in their life, and people are bad managers of their credit. So guess what? They don't have good credit. And if you don't have a good credit score, you can't get the loan you want. So why don't you be the banker and give some credit to some of these people and take payments? Why don't you be the bargain hunter and buy at the tax defaulted auction? Well, what's a tax defaulted auction? Well, comment below if you're interested in what we're talking about or whatever questions you might have. But let me tell you what a tax defaulted auction is while you're thinking about that. Number one, The local government needs money to run the government. Where does that money come from? It comes from property owners. So all the property owners in the community they are required to pay property tax. Now, once that money comes into the government's got plenty of ways to spend it. Now, when I'm talking about the government, I'm talking about the county government. This is the local county. So the local county takes care of the firefighters, takes care of the police department, takes care of helping out at the hospital. It takes care of making the roads. You're getting the idea. Schools and school teachers are paid by the local county. So the local county needs money. But we get all these properties in the county, and everybody doesn't pay tax. So if they're not paying tax, what's going to happen? Well, the county's not going to be able to run. So they made some simple rules. The legislature and the county got together, they coordinated, and they gave the treasurer the power to, number one, levy a tax. Number two, collect the tax. Number three, if you don't pay the tax, they confiscate your property. Now, do they want your property? Hell no, they don't want a property. What do they want? They basically want the money for taxes. So what they do is they have a public auction, and they sell that property as cheap as they possibly can. So the starting bid will be very close to the back taxes and some fees. So a property is now going to sell for 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar, and it won't have a mortgage. When the treasurer confiscates the property, there's no mortgage. So now there's going to be an auction in every county in America this year. Some will have multiple auctions, and they're going to sell those properties. The treasurer doesn't want property. Treasurer wants money to run the county. All right, so now they're going to sell that property for a low price. They only want to get rid of it to get the taxes. Now, what else do they do when they get rid of that property? When you buy that property, it goes back on the tax roll. What they want is a tax roll where people are paying every single year. The county runs on getting tax money every single year. So this system works. So if you just think it out for a little bit, who do you want to copycat? You want to copycat and learn what the people that are really making money are doing. They're buying it relatively low, they're marking it up a little bit, and they're selling it. Okay? What's happened to Sears? What's happened to JCPenney's? What's happened to those stores? Kmart disappeared. Every year, more and more retailers disappear. Not just because of the e-commerce, but because they're not following what the people want. All right, second thing people want is they want payments. What if you sold this property on payments? After getting payments on 4 or 5 of these, you'd have enough payments to keep you going for the rest of your life. You're kind of getting the idea. So I have clients that have bought properties for $5,000 and then sold them on installments and ended up making $100,000 over 100 months by just taking a $1,000 a month payment. Well, there's lots of people that need those payments. 25% of America can't get a loan at the bank. Why? They've been through bankruptcy. They're in divorce. All kinds of problems. All right, so the challenge is the county treasurer will confiscate property for anyone that doesn't pay. For you, be the bargain hunter, learn about tax defaulted property, learn about tax lien certificates. In both cases, you're going to be able to make money. Why? Because now you're going to be able to buy properties 10, 20, 30 cents on the dollar. You're always looking for margin. You're not looking to have that fancy house that you saw someone fixing up on television. Everybody's going ooh and ah. What you want is you want bread and butter. C's and D's are perfect because a lot of people, that's where they need to live. All right, so now anyone can go to this auction. Without me, you can go to the auction. You can observe the thing. You can bid at the auction. You can start small and grow the business. You want to learn from us? I'm going to give you a gift. Before I finish, I'm going to give you a gift that'll teach you about tax lien certificates and tax deeds. Now, the auction buyers are people that like to be involved. This is your chance. When you learn how to do this, there's going to be 5,000 auctions this year. 5,000. I don't know how many they'll have in your community, but we can sure look it up and tell you that. All right, this system is 200 years old. 200. I didn't create it. I just learned how to teach it, but I'm a practitioner myself. I've been involved in tax defaulted properties for 25 years. Thousands of properties are available every single year. I'm going to take 2 questions, and then I'll see you below where you can get your free gift. Okay, so the question was, person wants to make sure they get a property they don't want a tax lien. Okay, so half of the states will sell tax lien certificates. When they sell those, that simply means they're not kicking the people out so you don't get possession. So a tax lien, you're just getting an income vehicle. So gray-haired people like Ted, they want very conservative investment. But if you want to buy property, you need to go to tax defaulted auctions. Now, some of these auctions are going to be so big. I know you haven't been to one, so you don't realize this. Some of these auctions, they're going to have 1,500, 2,000 properties that they want to sell all in one day. Now, you can't snap your fingers like that 2,000 times, especially sell property. So they're going to want to sell. So this is a process. A county that has a small population might be the place for you to start. Why? Because they'll just have a few and it'll go slowly. They won't have an auctioneer, except a county employee will be the auctioneer. But at the big auctions like the Los Angeles and sometimes the Seattles and Dallases, and so, they might have a professional auctioneer. And if they do, I can tell you, fast as you can clap your hands, they're going to sell property. So this is a business of abundance. There will always be too many tax default. It doesn't matter whether the economy is doing this up, or this down. There will always be like this with the tax. I've been at it for 30 years. It's always been level. It will continue to be level because people are still losing their property because people die. They don't pay the tax, and the county gets the property. If you're going to get into the tax lien certificate end of the business, there's numerous strategies that are a little bit different than what I just told you. For example, a strategy might be buy a tax lien. Let's say you lived in the state of Florida. You want to buy a tax lien there. So when you looked at the tax liens, you can look it up and see where the owner is. Well, if the owner is in Michigan, well, they might not even be ever going to pay the tax lien or do anything. So you might get the property. So that's the kind of strategy you have to kind of think of. So there's no way to tell what another person is going to do. I mean, you could be in a poker game with someone. You can't tell what they're going to do. So you don't know, but if you take training, obviously I'm prejudiced, so if you take training, we can show you a few of the things they do. We can show you in video. We can go practice with you. We can do practice auctions in the room. We can actually take you and hold your hand and take you to an auction. I mean, that's what we do. But all the strategies on an 8-minute video you're just not going to get them all right now.